8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of...
Welcome to Geo's Vlogs podcast. Tonight's show is going to be very good. I am Geo, and we have on the panel Coach Mary Ma, Melissa King, and the Marlene Saunders show and podcast. Well, guys, we are here tonight to talk about side chicks, okay? But before we get into side chicks, I just want to say thank you to my panel who came on tonight to help me talk about this and see what we come up with tonight, okay? But first, what is a side chick? A side chick is a woman intimately linked to a person already in a committed relationship. For an example, people may refer to a married man's girlfriend as his side chick, okay? Side chicks may or may not know that their partners is in a relationship. Women who know their partners is in a relationship may think he will eventually leave his main chick, which is his wife, which never happens, okay? Or just like spending time with him and don't care if he's a cheater. Okay, so this side chick is just one of the many slangs used for mistresses, with some others being homewreckers, hoes, and thoughts. Okay, so we are going to tell you some side chick stories that affected our relationship, or that we did not know that we was the side chick until later on in the relationship. So I am going to start it off, and then I'm going to ask Coach Mary Ma to speak. Marlene, first of all, let me just redo it. I'm going to ask Marlene first because she can't stay a long time, then Coach, then Melissa. Mine is short, sweet, and quick. I did not know I was a side chick. I met this dude, child. He was fine, Marlene, okay? Tall, dark, and handsome like I like him. You know what I mean? And so we hit it off at the bar. We was having a good time. I ain't see no ring or nothing like this. And this was when I was in my 20s, okay? So that's a long way back, all right? And, you know, I was like, I really had a nice time with him. So he asked me for my number. I gave it to him. And about 3 days later, he called me and asked me if I could meet at that same bar. And I said, yeah. And we had a good time, and we were laughing and talking. Never seen no ring or nothing like that. And then he would call me sometimes, you know, while he was at work, because he had a desk job. So I didn't think nothing of it. I was just having a good time. Plus, he was buying all the drinks. That's when I used to drink, okay? And this kept on for like maybe about a good, 4 weeks. And I was like, oh, this guy's really nice. Ooh, he might be the one. Child, please. Next thing I know, I was at home. It was on a Saturday, maybe about like 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and I get a phone call. And, you know, I didn't know the number, but I said, let me just answer this anyway. So I answered it, and they said, is this Geo? I said, yes. It was a woman, okay? And I said, yes, this is Geo. How can I help you? Because y'all know I always did home businesses. So I thought it was maybe going to be somebody want to join my home business. And I said, yes, this is Geo. And she said, this is Gladys, and I am the wife of so-and-so. I went, what? No, shut the front door. She said, no, the door is open. She said, I just want you to know that he is married and he has 5 kids. I say, but he don't have a ring on. She said he never wore his ring. I said, really? Like that? She said, I'm not, calling you to bash you or nothing like that, but I do want to let you know that I'm not going nowhere. And he is a married man. And I said, thank you for calling me. Because I didn't know. I had no clue. She said, well, you sound like you're a nice guy. I said, you know what? I'm sorry. You don't have to worry about me. If he calls me, I am going to cuss Vanity him out. And I meant that. And you, of course, the man did call me like 3 days later. Hey, Gio, what's up? I said, you cuss Vanity such and such and such. Why you didn't tell me you was married? So sometimes you don't even know if you the side chick, okay? Until actually you just kind of stumble upon it, or someone call you. And I'm grateful for his wife calling me, because I was kind of catching some feelings for this man. But after all of that, he was like shocked. How did you find out? I said, your wife called me. So that was my experience of being a side chick and didn't even know it. And I'm pretty sure that happens today as well. So now we're going to move on to Marlene. Can't hear you, Marlene. Turn your volume up. We still can't hear you. Okay, she's going to come back and come in. So let's start with Coach Mary Ma.
Dad. Yeah, side chicks, like you say, they are very complex stories, and sometimes you don't know. But in my case, my ex-husband, my first ex-husband, because I've been divorced twice, my first ex-husband is actually married today to the side chick he had when we were married. And I had no idea that there was someone out there. But he was like so smooth, and like everything was going very fine until when I started having little like phone calls and stuff. We didn't have cell phones back then. So it was the house phone. And the guy would just like not pick the call or not answer the person and whatever. But yours truly, I realized one day he went to work and did not come back home, and came back in the morning and told me some story. And I believed him, really. He said his car his car broke down in the middle of the night, and he didn't want somebody to steal the car, so he slept in the car. And look at me there, I was so sorry for him. Oh, you must have had a rough night and blah, blah, blah. Until, like, all my friends knew that thing that everybody knows, that he's a cheater except you. All my friends knew, and like 95% of the people that knew me told me that was not the guy for me when we started dating. But I was like, when you are young, you just like following. They say the things that the heart has their own reason that the head does not understand. So I was reasoning with my heart. They told me, do you know that this guy is housing this girl who he started dating when he was in one town? He got transferred from his job to another town and moved the girl to the next town and found a house for her, really rented an apartment for her. And like, because I was schooling out of the country, so I'll come for holidays and go back. And he was having a more permanent relationship with the side chick than with me, his wife.
Wow, Coach Mary. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Wow.
Yes.
We will come back to you, Coach Mary, to finish it up. Get your last thoughts on that and what happened and how did you leave? We're gonna go ahead and go back to Marlene. Oh, here's Coach. Okay, Marlene, you there? Okay, so we're gonna, because there's Marlene.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
You want to hear my story?
Yeah, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I was in this neighborhood living, and one day I saw a car. As soon as the wife would leave, I would see maybe 15 minutes later another car would pull up. This is my neighbor. Come to find out, it was the mistress was going to the neighbor's house, and he was having an affair. And when that was leaving,
yeah, but you're breaking up, Marlene. We hear some clicking, like clicking.
You can't hear me?
Now it's gone. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is this better? Okay, so every time he would leave, another would come in. So he had like 4 different girls that he was in a relationship with, and he was married.
Okay, so you're saying that you found, I couldn't really understand you, Marlene. You said that you found out how?
It was my neighbor.
Through a what? Okay, because it's breaking up, Marlene.
My neighbor.
Oh, your neighbor? Okay, she's having some technical problems, and we'll come back to her. So now we're going to hear from Melissa King. And welcome in, Mocha Meema.
Hey, how are you guys?
We good.
Okay, so as y'all can see on my title, I am unapologetically single. So I don't have to worry about the side chick anymore. But okay, I was trying to think of a good story to share. And so I was in a relationship, and I'm one of those people that has a memory. I don't forget anything, and I remember details. So and me and my person, we hanging out, we're watching a movie, we're getting ready to watch a movie. So as the movie was coming on, he says to me, we already saw this. Remember, we went to the movies and saw it. Okay, I ain't never seen this movie before. So automatically, I'm like, hold up. I never saw this movie. Who did you go see this movie with? He tried his best to convince me for the next hour while we watched that movie. You remember this part right here? Nope, because I ain't never seen this movie. Who did you go to see this movie with? And it just floored me that he would try to convince me, knowing my memory the way it is, to make me think that me and him went and saw the movie instead of him and another female. And it wasn't like an action movie. It was a chick flick. It was the, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the one with Beyonce and Idris Elba and like there was a girl that was obsessed. So this is not something that you're going to go see with your buddies. This is something you're going to go see with a female. So eventually, he had to go ahead and break it down and tell him, because I'm like, how you going to try to make me think I saw a movie that I know for a fact this is my first time looking at it? But he put up a good fight. He tried. But yeah, so he, had the little side chick thing going on. And as far as how it affected the relationship, it ended it. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Wow. These side chick stuff is something else. And, and it's the men too, if you ask me, because they go out and get them. Okay, now we're going to hear from, I believe, let's see, Mocha Meema.
Hey, y'all, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, my side chick story is this. It was with my first ex-husband. So I was a stay-at-home mom when my kids were little, and he was out there, doing his thing or whatever. I'm thinking he's at work, and because he had a good job, so he made good money where I could stay home. So I'm thinking he's out at work. He was having this relationship over on the side. Now the side chick, when I found out about it, I put him out. And my mother and everybody was like, "Oh, you don't put a man out," that with that old school mentality. But at the time, my kids were one of them was an infant, the other one was a toddler, and my oldest daughter was like 7. I had no job. I was per diem at my job, so I hardly ever worked and everything. But I put him out. So then the side now, mind you, he and I were in the midst of the divorce, but the side chick kept coming at me with stuff. She got the man. I don't put him out. He wasn't coming back. I'm there struggling with 3 young children and whatnot. And this girl kept bothering me, sending me like messages, like putting stuff on my car, writing on the windshield of my car and all that kind of stuff. So as time went on, him and her was together. He went and even she was always a side chick. He even went and married somebody else on her, and she was still the side chick. This went on for like 20 something years until he passed away back. He passed away like 7, almost 8 years ago, and he passed away. And then not even a year later, she passed away. Because when it was alive, I had said to her, "You will always be the side chick. You will never be the wife." But especially after he married the second person. So I said, I guess to myself, they're wherever they're at, and maybe he married her, but maybe he hasn't. He probably got married somebody else, and she's still the side.
Mm,
And
mm.
I even took in her son. She did all kind of stuff. Left him with her son that she had. It wasn't his son, her son. And she left. One time she went and left them, and they were living in a hotel. She left them in there, didn't pay the hotel bill, and they put them out. And him and her son had to stay with me, and they stayed with me for like 6 months. She was gone.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Mm.
Mm.
Okay, we're gonna hear from actually Aubery.
Oh, okay. Well, my story is I, as a young girl, a young woman in college, very naive and very not very experienced, kind of sort of became the side girl for a minute, right? I met this guy out and about, and he was an older man, very handsome. He was a computer analyst or something like that, and presented very well, very articulate, just very the kind of guy you want to bring home to meet your mom, which I did. And he met my mom. He didn't have any rings on, by the way. Didn't have a wedding band on or any of that stuff. And it wasn't until like we've been dating for a little while, and I started to ask more questions, and I finally started probing and looking at some of the things that he would tell me that I thought were really strange. Like he was just basically telling me, like for his job that he had to travel overseas and that he would be gone this amount of time. And one day I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and she said, "You sure this guy's not married?" And I was like, "No, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He goes to church, blah, blah, blah." And but long story short, I got to looking up his name, and because I did have his business card, so I actually knew that was his real name. And I got to look at his name up in the suburb here outside of Detroit that he said that he lived in. And when I came up with the number, because back then, if you guys remember the white pages and the yellow pages from the telephone company, right? And so anyway, so I looked it up, and I found a residential phone number, and I got the address and got the phone number. And the first time I called, because I think I ended up calling like twice. And the first time I called, I was like, I think his son answered the phone, or child answered the phone, and they gave it to the mother, which was his wife. And I was like, what in the world is going on? And so I hung up because I was just so flustered. I was like, what? Like called my girlfriend and I was crying. And I was like, oh, this guy is married. Oh my God. And I really like this guy. And I thought he was a nice guy and blah, blah, blah. And so I asked her what would she do, and she was like, "Well, I wouldn't tell the wife. I wouldn't tell the wife if I were you. I wouldn't say anything about you've been dating this guy, and you didn't realize and didn't know he was married, And she was worried about how I would look or whatever, whatever." And I said, "Well, I don't agree with that." I said, "Because if I was married to a guy and he was out here gallivanting around town, meeting young girls that are college age." And taking them out on expensive dates and talking about he's going to take me traveling and all this stuff that he wanted to do for me, and I had no idea that this guy was married. I said, I want to know. So I called back and I spoke to the wife, and I asked her to get her husband on the phone. And at first, he wouldn't come on the phone. So I said, well, okay, he doesn't want to be here for this. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you everything that I can tell you about the relationship. And I did. I told her where we met. I told her things that he had told me about that he had been divorced, and that he had he had a child that had died. And I said, I don't know. I said, he got very emotional. I said, your husband's a really good actor. And she said, and that's when she knew. She said, oh yeah, that really is my husband, because that did happen. We did lose a child and this, that, and the third. And I was like, oh, my condolences. But I said, but in any case, and I just went ahead and told her everything that I could tell her about her husband and our relationship. And at the end of it, she was like, well, you can have him if you want him. I was like, I don't want him. He's your husband. I don't want him. And then he finally came on the phone. So, because she was talking to me for so long, we were sipping our tea and having our Moscato, and like just like two girlfriends, like we were very mature and adult about it. Because like I told my girlfriend, I didn't have anything to be ashamed of, because I feel like if you don't know this man is married now, fast forward many, many decades later, of course, I know a lot of the signs, but I think there are a lot of women out there that if they're in their early 20s, and they were raised up in the church like I was, and just very naive, didn't know that men would play these kind of games and be so blatant to lie about it, and to leave so many breadcrumbs, whereas I could call his wife and tell her what I told her. So I told her everything. And so we talked about it, and he finally did. I guess he got so fed up because she was on the phone so long with me having her tea and crumpets as we were sitting there sipping and chiming in like two girlfriends. And she was like, girl, yeah, he's a mess. And I was like, yeah, I know he is. And so he got on the phone, and at first he tried to deny it. And she said, well, don't deny it. You did it. She's telling me everything about you that only someone that knows you would know. And she said, well, you've probably done this, and she told me too. She said, well, he's done this before. I was like, what? So I was, she's like, oh yeah, he had done that. Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's a really true saying. When you meet these guys and they're telling you they're reformed cheaters, and I ain't gonna say no names, but when they tell you they used to cheat on their first wife and maybe the second wife, they're still cheaters. They haven't changed any, because that's a spirit. To me, that's a spirit. And unless God comes in and heals them, that's a spirit inside of that person, that they just want to cheat and they just like to play games. And to them, I don't think relationships are even fun unless they're doing it on the sly. That's like a whole thing. My girlfriend taught me that years later, that there's a whole thing that some people can't even have, the big O, unless they're doing something on the sly. So that's a whole thing, but that's a whole story for another day. But yeah, but that's my story basically. Oh, and one last thing. So months later, as luck would have it, I was going into a major mall, and guess who's coming out the door?
Him.
And wait, yeah, and the missus, and
Oh, she was with him?
They were shopping. It was a holiday time, and the missus and him, they were together, and I made sure to say hello too.
Oh,
I
wow.
said, oh, I talked to you on the phone not too long ago. Remember we were having our tea and crumpets talking about your husband? And she just blushed, and she grabbed him by the arm and dragged him on the way. I'm not playing. I am not playing. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I heard that. It sounds like the lady before you got here, I was telling everybody that I had met this guy out in the club, and he was really tall and fine and cute and dark, like I like him. Mm-hmm. And and we would meet. He would call. I gave him my number, and he would call me. And we had met at that club like maybe 10 times, dancing, having fun. And I was not. I was in my early 20s maybe. So back then, you don't be as you just be naive.
That's it.
And so after a while, I had a phone call and I didn't know what the number was. So I answered the phone and she said, "Is this Gio?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, I said, "Well, how can I help you? Because y'all know I started back doing home businesses early on in my 20s. And she said, "This is so-and-so." I say, "Yeah, how can I help you?" She said, "Well, I think you going out. I found your number in my husband's pants pocket."
Ooh, and that's it. That's always they're gonna leave some telltale signs. What?
I was like, "Husband?" I said, "What's your husband's name?" And she told me. And I said, "Ma'am, I did not know that he was married." I said, "I don't do married men. I already know what you get from that. Nothing, you know?" And she said, "Well, you're not the only one. I wish the rest of the people didn't raise, the rest of the girls that I call, they always got mad and raised their voice and slammed the phone down." She said, "But you're just talking to me." She said, "I really believe that you didn't know." I said, "He didn't have no ring." She said, "Baby, he ain't want no ring, and I don't know when."
And that's a problem, because I got a very good friend of mine who I think is a very ethical guy, but he always tells me he just doesn't like jewelry, and that's why he doesn't wear his ring. But I always thought that was real shady. But I mean, I'm suspecting the wife knows. I've never made a play for him because I knew he was married, and he said he'll tell anybody that he's married. But I have had, over the years, when I got past that first thing, I would be in the club now. Like, let's say fast forward, I'm in my mid-20s, I'm out of college, and I'm just doing my thing, and I'm a lot more experienced. And I've had a lot of men at bars that if I'm sitting at a bar, especially in my mid-20s, they would offer to buy me a drink and we would start talking. And they were, again, because I've always liked older men. I've always liked men that were a good 10, 15 years older than me. And the guys would tell me a lot of times at that point, they would say, "Oh yeah, I'm married. I'm married." They wouldn't have. I said, "Well, you don't have a ring on." They said, "Yeah, I don't wear my ring, but I'm married." And they'll let you know, "I'm not leaving my wife, but I'd like to have a little something, something." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not looking for something with a married man, because there's nothing you can do for me. You
Right.
can't marry me because you already got a wife." So I mean,
They just want a little roll in the hay.
like most men, single or married. That's
Right.
most of them.
And because a married man, all they gonna do is do a roll in the hay, and 20 minutes later, "Oh, I gotta go." You're not gonna get anything from that. So
No,
I'm
you're
gonna
not.
go back to
Okay.
Mocha Meema and see what else she has to say.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Now, I have to say, I have been back when I was younger. I have been the side chick from time to time, not with anybody married, with somebody that had another girlfriend that like y'all talk like I didn't know, but then when I found out I'm the type, I just let them go. It's like I move on, you know.
Right. That's the best thing.
I move on. I mean, sometimes you feel hurt or whatever, but it's not. I know it's not me. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong at all. It was these sorry men, like my grandmother used to call them. They just sorry, you know. But like I've seen stories with women and like right now we got that thing going on with Zion Williamson and that side Instagram thought he was messing with. He got two of them. And this girl then went nuclear. And that's the thing. They don't know how to play their position sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not condoning it whatsoever. But the thing is to know your position. And that girl's having a fit now because she knows she's not going to have access to those funds.
No.
So
They know how
it's crazy.
when you the side chick, you don't have access to but one thing, and that's the rod. That's it.
Mm-hmm. But some of them are messing with guys who might have quantities, boilers, and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, they don't know how to play their position. And she showed the screenshots of the money she was getting. She should have kept her mouth closed. At least he might have been giving her money just to shut her up. But once she went nuclear, it's been a week now since she went crazy on the internet, and she's all jacked up.
She just should have just shut up and left him alone and took the money and went and do what she got to do.
Yeah.
Because no one deserves to be the side chick, if you ask me.
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's go back to Melissa.
Hey, you know what? While y'all were talking, I was just sitting here thinking about, I come from a family, and I'm not trying to tell on nobody, but I come from a family where it's mostly my cousins, and I only have brothers, so I'm around a lot of men, and it's funny how when they have the side chick, there's no type of remorse or anything.
They don't show no. Wait a minute. You said they don't show no remorse?
No. I've seen people bring the side chick to the cookout, and maybe the wife was not there, or you might run it like was it Aubery that was saying she went to the mall and she ran into it would be nothing to run into people who were cheating with their side chick, and they're out in public places like they're on a date.
Wow.
I just think some are so bold with it and stuff. And I equally blame, like, if the side chick knew going in, it's different if you didn't know. But if you knew going in and he obviously knew, I blame both of them. You know how sometimes you tend to shift the blame more on the woman than the guy. But I'm like, I blame both of them.
Yeah. I hear you, Melissa. Coach Mary?
Yeah, I'm just laughing when you guys are talking about wearing rings. If you were in Spain, nobody wears rings on their fingers. The men who are a little conscious, they wear them in their necks, like their chain. They put it like the medal for their chains. So if you're looking for the ring to know if the person is married or not, you will never know. They don't wear rings, most of them. And so, except the person is honest to tell you up front or not, but if not, you could easily just get one guy thinking that you are the main dish when you are the side dish. So, anyways, back to my story. So I was like, really? And when this girl knew that I had found out, she was calling my house and telling me, don't be disturbing that guy. After all, you're here for a few weeks. You will go for when you go back to school. I'm going to come back. And yours truly, today, the guy is married to that girl. But for my second husband, my second ex-husband, he had a side chick. And how did I know about this side chick? He mistakenly called me by her name.
Oh, he did not.
Yep, he did. Because I was in Senegal, and he's there in Baltimore. So we travel back and forth. And I realized that this girl was really like friends with all my friends that were in the States. And then when he traveled to Senegal, he used my laptop and forgot his password. Me being like a good journalist, when I logged in, I saw that his email was open, and so I took my time. I went into his email. God in heaven knows what I saw. Pictures, whatever, and stuff. And that's why I really never went back to Baltimore. I really did not even find it funny. But the thing is, he did not marry this girl. He went on to marry another girl, which means he was like having a lot of us Even though he was married to me, like people will say you were never around, but I was where I was. I was not running around because I knew that I was married. So that's no excuse.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you, Coach Mary. I'm just speechless. That's all I can say right now. Just speechless, and just so sorry that that happened to you. And I'm glad you left. I'm glad you got away. Okay, so I think we have heard from everybody on the panel. So what I want to do right now is tell you 6 signs that scream you're the side chick. Pay attention. Number one, you are his dirty little secret. Okay. Now, I got this information from the internet. I always share that. So I just, I took this information because I thought it was great information. Number one, you're his dirty little secret. You're never gonna meet his mama or anyone else of importance to him. And you have been dating for a while, and that's so true. When I was with that guy, I thought I was with him, and we were just going out to the club. I never met anybody. When I read that, I was like, oh my God. And I can't tell y'all what I said next, okay, actually. All right. We got number two, your dates consist of you, him, and sex. Okay. Now, if y'all want to chime in on some of these, just unmute and then I'll see that. Okay. It says, do your dates only consist of sex? How to find out you're the side chick. If a man doesn't take you out to wine and dine you, then he's not only cheap, but he doesn't think of you more than a booty call. As hard as it might be hard to hear, this man doesn't value you and will not make you his girlfriend, and definitely not his wife. Okay, because I guess he feels as if you do it with him, you'll do it with somebody else. So you're not wife material. Number three, he always texts you. No one is that busy that they can't pick up the phone once in a while. If he only texts, then this means that he's with someone else or doesn't want to hear your voice. Oh, wow. Either one is not good. Number four, his phone never rings when you're together. That's because he turns it off. Think about it. It never rings when you're together. Number five, he doesn't get jealous when you speak about other men. Child, if a man, because men like to mark their territories. Now, if he don't get jealous, he just said, and go on to the next subject or what have you, child. He don't even care. He just there for the booty call. Okay, number six and the last one, you're alone on Valentine's Day or Christmas or any important holiday. It's unfortunate, but if a man doesn't spend important holidays and milestones with you, it means that you're not his main woman and that he's not that into you. And then the last little note that I have here, and I'm going to go to actually Aubery. Find someone who thinks you're special enough to spend these moments with. Actually, Aubery, you have the floor.
Oh yes, thank you. I was just waiting for you to get to that one because actually I thought that would be first, but that's probably one of the biggest signs, that and going back to when you said the phone calls. I don't even talk to men now, or you know, like, you can't be my friend and you want to text me good morning gorgeous or good morning big head or whatever the current slang is that men are using for women nowadays. Don't bother. Don't bother. If you can't pick up the phone and call me in the morning or call me in the afternoon, don't bother. But the holidays, that's something I learned very early on. Like I said, as a single woman out there in my 20s, is that guys that cannot be bothered with you for the holidays, they aren't making plans. And I mean, you don't even have to wait right up until that day. If it's 2, 3 weeks out before a big holiday, so that's Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, and whatever else, if they're not making plans three weeks out to be with you, or you're asking them, well, what are you doing on such and such upcoming holiday, and they're blowing you off, or they're telling you something silly, they don't really care about you. They don't really care about you unless you just recently started dating and it's a complicated situation, meaning that maybe both of you are divorced, one of you's divorced, you have children, so you have a more complicated situation than you're just in college and you're free and single. You actually have people that you have to respect, and you may need to wait a while. You may, if you just met the person a month ago, they may not be ready to bring you home to meet their children or their parents. But other than that, if you've been seeing this person 3, 4, 5, 6 months and they're not ready to bring you home for the holidays or spend time with you and take you out so that the public can see you together, you're not that special to them. Just know that.
No, you're the booty call. That's why, I have so many interview questions, like a whole room full. Okay. And because once that happened to me, where the wife called me, I don't know, she could have been this girl. I don't care what she was. She had my number and knew the man's name. That was good enough for me. I don't want to be, I don't, I don't know how she felt, but if it was me, I would have felt bad. But even back then, I had enough sense to just say, no, I don't want to be that booty call. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the girl that you can take out to the club and have fun and, and talk. And, I don't want to be that girl when you got a woman at home. Go home.
Right.
Right.
I don't think. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, coach.
No, that's very true, Joe. And I'm really happy with the points that you brought up, because that is exactly what it is. And like they say, you are the one who gives the person the blueprints on how to treat you. So if you want them to treat you like a spare, they will treat you like a spare. And those are the things that the signs that you see, and you are alert and you say, no, this is not possible. How can I be going out with somebody for months and we can't even go out together? We can't be seen together. He's texting. Those are red flags. Most often we even see them and we try to, like, okay, maybe we try to find excuses for them. But I'm really glad with the ones, like the guys who come out and tell you, I am married, I am just looking for fun. Are you interested? And then you can decide if you want to go in there, fine. But those hypocrites, no. Those ones are the ones that are really like big hypocrites. And like me, I left. And one of the things that I don't know whether to call them my friends or my family, they said, you don't know how to fight for your man. And I told them, are you kidding me? If the man is mine, I don't have to fight for him. If he has no respect for me, why would I be fighting for someone to keep him as a priority when I am just an option for him?
Right. I heard that. I wouldn't want to be fighting for nobody like that either. And I would have walked away too, Mary. Sure would have. And we'll do it in a slick minute. Let me know. Let me find out something. I am going to confront you about it and tell you that I'm gone. No. Don't call me anymore, because I don't want to be that, to be called no whole thought, side chick, none of that. None of that is good to be called, And I'm for uplifting women, I'm not. I can find me a man, you know what I'm saying? I
And
don't
you know
need.
what? You know what, Gio? I call that, a lot of the women who are in those relationships, I call it the better right syndrome. Because she had that song where she quotes, a piece of man is better than no man at all. I do not understand that mentality. Because
Well, go
a
ahead.
lot of times women will stay, or I'm just like, even when that song come on, I don't even sing that part.
Hmm. Well, I don't want no piece of man. I want a whole man. What about you, Mocha Meema?
I'm the same way. When she said that, it reminded me. I remember those songs when I was growing up, and remember that one that goes, "Barbara, this is Shirley." That song. But yeah, and the thing about it is, at my big age, I'm too old to be sharing a man. Like I'm, that's not gonna happen for me. I've just, and Aubrey brought out about the texting and all that. I had met a guy. This was, God, this was during the pandemic, I think. And he would text me and whatnot. And I was like, and I knew right then, I'm like, I'm too old for the text thing. If you can't pick up the phone and call me, then I can't be bothered. And now he'll still send a text, like he texts me, Happy Mother's Day. He'll text like all the holidays, he'll text me. I don't even text him back. I just
Hmm.
don't. I don't answer. I don't even have him blocked because I'm like it's not worth blocking because he'll eventually get it and just not text me because I just don't answer back. And he
Right.
even tried to friend me on Facebook, and I'm like, no, no, I'm too old for that stuff. If you can't make the effort for just a phone call, then I don't want to be bothered.
Me neither. Because I'm old school. Call me.
Hmm.
Okay.
I know that's right. Well,
Actually,
Mocha's got a lot more patience than I do because I'm the queen of block. I'm the queen of block on all social media and my phone. Don't call me. Don't call me when I'm done with you. I am a black or white person about the done thing because too many people in Mocha, we cover Married at First Sight, Jasmine and Kirsten still mulling things over, looking for closure in their relationship with their husbands or ex-husbands or whatever. I tell you what, when this chick is done, it's a wrap. Just call it over with because you will be blocked on every possible thing that you can be blocked on. And if I see you, I will look right through you. That's how I roll.
right.
But
You
see,
know, go
my
ahead.
exes, they know me. They know me. When I tell you don't call me no more, they don't even bother. They already know. I listen, I'm not the one to go and change phone numbers and all that. I used to be friends with this girl. She's always changing her number. I'm not changing my number. You're just not gonna call me. And
I
I
know
mean
that.
what I say. And they don't do it. I saw an ex of mine the other night. I ain't say nothing to him. He ain't say nothing to me. There's nothing to be said. No hello, nothing. There's nothing at all to be said.
Okay, well, I like what you're saying because I'm not changing my number either, but I
Hmm.
will block you and that will stay that way. Like, you will be blocked because you know what? I don't like the idea that I'm even accessible to you any longer. Like, you're not gonna reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, Insta who, Insta what, Insta pot. It's over. It's over. And I don't do redos. I don't. Like all of that silly stuff that men try to tell you, let's be friends. They are simply trying to keep you in the rotation. That's all that's
Yes.
about. That's trifling. That's
Speak
trifling.
on it. Speak on it, actually, because that's what they do. They think you dumb. And,
And a lot
child.
of women fall for it. Like we're talking, I was just saying, like Mocha Meema and I, we cover on Sunday afternoons at 4:30. Let me throw this little shameless plug in at 4:30 p.m. EST. We cover on my channel actually, Aubrey. We cover Married at First Sight, right? Recaps. And the two women, the two black women that are on there, they have two airhead. Airhead is one, Eris, and the other guy who is a whiner and a mama's boy. They didn't want these women, and now that it's over though, they're like, oh yeah, let's just be friends and let me come over and pick up your dog and walk your dog. No, you can't walk a darn thing for me. It's over. So I never leave a open a space or anything for a man to come back because when I've said I'm done, or if you said you're done, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to stalk you and you're not going to stalk me and you're not going to come over here. We're not going to be friends. Like I said, if I see you, I'll look right through you. Okay? That's how that goes.
Right. Because, as you get older and things like that, I had a guy on Facebook I used to date, and, he's married now. And he hit me up on Facebook and he just said, hey, Gio, how you been? This is so-and-so. I ain't heard from this man, what, 20, 30 years? And I said, oh, I'm doing good and stuff. And he said, well, are you married? I said, no, not at the moment. that was just conversation. And he said, well, yeah, I'm married and stuff like that. And then he said, but I'm still in love with you. I said, block. When he said I'm still in love with you, I just blocked him because I'm like, I
And
ain't the
that's
one.
such a story. And that's such a story. Men think that their words can make them, and some women, unfortunately, some women will fall for it. But your words can't make me fall in love with you or be back in love with you or care about you again. All this I love you or I realize what I lost. No, you should have realized it when you had me. And if you
Thank
did,
you.
then that's your misfortune. And that tells me something very important about you, why I don't want to be with you any longer. You are a fool, sir. You are a
And
fool.
and actually, he cheated on me
Uh,
back in the day.
Oh,
So
oh,
why
well,
would
he's
I
never
want
gonna get another chance.
right? So why would I want you back? I am not trying to be no side chick. He talking about well within that conversation, he talking about I know you. I'm saying you knew me back then, but you don't know who I am today.
Tell him, tell him, repeat that to him. The thing is, like where I come from in Africa, most often women are built and they are groomed to get married. And that's the only way that they respect you and think you are responsible when you are married and you have children. And that's why most of the time African women will condone infidelity and
mm,
all the side chicks and everything because they want to remain married and they want to conform to societal norms. But thank God, like there are people like me, there are many people today who will say to hell, and they will say, I would rather, like Melissa, be unapologetically single than to be in a like more in a polygamous home or whatever. Granted that
Mm-hmm.
is polygamy. Polygamy is legal in my
Mm-hmm.
country because we have Muslims because of their
Mm-hmm.
religion.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people they will always tell you every normal man needs
Mm.
more than one wife or one woman. And
mm,
so having side chicks is like a normal thing, and you cannot imagine the audacity of some of those side chicks, which most often is depends on the way the man handles the home, or they go and tell their side chicks that they're going to leave their wives for them. Hashtag men never leave their wives for their side chicks, except
mm.
like my first ex-husband. I left him and he went to the side chick. But most often, a man will not leave his wife for his side chick because you have already showed him that you can take that second place. You can be a spare. Why would he bother to make you full time when you are contented with your half part time and whatever? So those are
Without the
some of the
full
things.
benefits, I got a story behind that too, though. When you finish, Coach Mary.
Yeah, no, I finished.
She finished.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't mean to cut you off because that was very beautiful, and I love what you said. And I'm not sure which part of Africa, which country from
No,
Africa you.
I come from Cameroon. Cameroon is in Central Africa. But
Ah, Cameroon. Okay. My
yes,
daughter was not too long ago in Liberia for 6 months with her company. But what I
okay.
was but what I was going to say to add on to if you will, to add on to what you were saying, there's a story that I could tell you real quickly. My very best friend growing up in high school and college,
Coach,
um,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I wanted her to mute.
yes, my very good girlfriend, my best girlfriend, her big sister, who's just a year ahead of us, and we all went to high school together. So we went off to college. We went to different colleges, and her sister, her big sister, met this guy who turned out to be married, very handsome young guy, but he was married. And as they started to date, I don't know at what point exactly that she knew that this guy was married, but she continued to date him once she found out that he was married. Because, like a lot of women have this whole thing that they want to convince themselves, well, I'm in love and you can't control who you love, which is total bull crap. But that's a story for another day. But anyway, so she continued to date this man, even though she knew he was married. And we were definitely not raised like that, but she did. And long story short, some years went by, a few years went by, and finally, the woman that he was married to, she got tired of his cheating, so she divorced him, right?
Mhm.
Well, unlike, like you said, very rarely, and I agree with you, Coach Mary Ma, that very seldom do men marry the side chick. But in this particular case, he married her. He married my girlfriend's sister, older sister. And but here's the thing that my mother used to always teach me: if you were to be a side chick and then you were to marry the guy that you were the side chick with, what you should be expecting is that at some point he's going to have another side chick on you, right? So
Right.
exactly that very thing happened. She married him and she was all so excited and happy. I won, I won, I won. I got this little piece of a man that's trifling, has no lack of moral character and fiber, and wants to cheat and thinks it's okay. And so he married me, but I got this little piece of a man because he's not a whole man. He's really almost like a grown boy. And so they got married, and of course it wasn't even years later. Like, you think sometimes, well, oh, it's the 7 year itch, or they've been married a long time. I mean, it was within a matter of months he was cheating on her with another side piece woman.
Oh.
And so she found out what my mother had always taught me, was that never under any circumstances should a woman, if you were unscrupulous enough to be the side chick knowingly, never should you want to marry that man, because you know for a fact that he's a cheater, and cheaters are always cheaters. And that's exactly what that was. That's my story, and I'll go on mute.
Wow.
That's so 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 true. And in Cameroon, we have this saying, because we grow cocoa from which they make chocolates, and we grow coffee. And those are two different plants, but they will always make an analogy. They say what the sickness that attacks cocoa will also attack coffee, which means when you are a side chick today and the guy comes to marry you, automatically, that you logically, you don't even have to doubt it, because he knows that you are used to sharing, you are used to being second place. He is going to find another person. And sometimes it's really like women go marry for the wrong reasons. You want to marry the guy to show that you had you were right all along, being a side chick. But no, you're missing the point. And like Joe, like some of those stories that you really want to hear. This guy, my first ex-husband, he came back someday and like, I'm still in love with you and I want us to. I say, can you imagine? I was your wife. You got married to your side chick and we divorced. And now you want me to be your side chick. My goodness. And like, and he said, no, you're my first love and
That's
blah,
too
blah,
that's
blah.
too much.
That's doing the most.
Those are some of the things that, because they don't think that you can like be unapologetically single and happy
Hmm.
and just be you. Like they say, you better be alone than in bad company.
Right. That's why I said today, back in my 20s, I was naive and dumb, and I thought I needed a man, or I didn't know what I know today. Today, I know my worth, you see, and I'm not willing, okay, to be treated like that, because you got a side chick, golly, you gotta have some feelings. I mean, your man is never there. I mean, and half of them don't even give you no light bill money or apartment rent. They just broke people that with side chicks, and now all I know is that I'm not willing, and that's how come when that man said in Facebook, I know you, and I just said block. I don't even hardly remember what I said, because I cannot stand that. uh, I don't like cheaters, and it's very hurtful when a man cheats on you, and it's very hurtful when they lie and don't wear their rings and get you all involved. And if you don't have enough love for yourself, enough self worth, you're not you got to have some kind of higher power, and you got to have a mentor in your life that you could go to or something, to tell this man no, especially if he's not calling you or coming around when he's supposed to, or just calling you at night when he want a booty call and that's it. And as soon as he gets it, he hops up out the bed and he gone. You're a side chick. You don't want to be that. Please listen. You listen to all our stories that we told. You don't want to be that. It is not good, and it doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel less than. Okay, so that is my last words on it. And
Can,
actually,
can,
Aubery.
can I ask you a favor? If you could go in your comments and you could post this to the screen, there's a comment in there from R and Bay, R and Bay.
Okay,
We
hold on.
marry at the level of our self-esteem. If you could post that for everybody to see, I think that is a great way to close out this wonderful video and this wonderful topic of side chicks.
Mhm.
Yes, that says it all right there.
Right. We marry at the level of our self-esteem. We need to love ourselves. That's what I'm talking about, child. I'm not trying to marry. Actually, I've been married. I've been divorced once. Husband died this last time. I don't want to do it again. I'm happy, just being who I am and doing what I want to do. I don't have time to figure out if I'm a side chick. I don't even want to be bothered, actually. Do you know where I'm coming from?
I feel you. I feel you, but I don't know. I'm praying that the Lord has one husband, a lifetime husband in store for me. But if not, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I really would like to have a life partner, because I feel like as I go into retirement and prepare for retirement, I would like to have a partner, husband, and that's the only person I'm going to live with as far as a person of the opposite sex. I would like to have that person there so that we could take care of one another and we could do things together, travel together, enjoy our grandchildren together, and those type of things. If that be in His will and His plan, and if not, I am comfortable being single, because hey, I grew up an only child, so trust me, I hardly ever miss people.
I know. And you're right. Actually, Aubrey, if God has someone for me, then this going to be that. But at this point in time in my life, I'm not looking. I'm just enjoying just being who
Amen.
I am. And and if God has someone down the road for me, of course. What can I do? If God put it together, it's gonna be right. But child, I'm not looking for cheaters and being no
I
side
am I
chick.
am not looking either, but if God puts one like you put it, I am very open. But the guy, I am going to scan you, rescan you, and maybe
I heard that.
Oh, I was just about to say that's another real good one that Janice A has. Not dirty in my piece with no stress mess. I know that's
oh
right,
my
Janice.
goodness.
I know that's right.
That's
All
what
right,
I'm
guys.
talking about. Janice hit it right on the nose because that's what I was trying to say.
I
But
know that's
okay,
right.
so I guess the next person we're gonna hear from is in conclusion is Mocha Meema.
Listen, you see what I think I put on my thing? I got 99 problems and a man ain't one. And that's how it's been that way for many years now. And that's how it's gonna remain. I don't have time for the foolishness, the shenanigans, none of it. I'm good.
Would you
I'm
say for
I'm
none of
good.
those shenanigans and none of
None
the fool la la?
Yep, no, I'm perfectly fine. If I want to go out to dinner with somebody, I'll go get my grandsons, take them out to dinner and to listen to a man talk all about themselves. That's the two of them. I'm good.
All right, we're gonna move on to Melissa.
Um, unapologetically single.
Okay, that's all she got to say.
I hollered.
Okay, Coach Mary, we're gonna hear from you once again, and then we're gonna close out, y'all.
No, I totally love this kind of conversations because there are still women out there who don't really seek out of their, like, they see with their hearts. Meanwhile, we need to really see with our heads, and totally we need to love ourselves. We need to, like, give them the blueprints to be treated like a queen and to be given the respect and the love that we are giving back, because women always have the love to give in general. I don't say absolutely, but in general, women are more available to give all the love and make things work. We should be able to attract the people who are also ready to work with us to make things work without anybody being hurt or without anybody losing their peace.
That is so true. Thank you
Mhm.
so much, Coach Mary. I want to thank my guests for coming up on the panel, Coach Mary, Melissa King, actually Aubery, Mocha Meema. I'm going to have their YouTube channels down below as soon as we get off of here. And I am Geo, and I'm the content creator for Geo's vlogs. And next, I want to just go to the chat and thank everybody for being in the chat. I appreciate it so much. We got Tara and Bay. Hey, I just met you. I think about it maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so happy because I believe we speak in the same language, Ara and Bay. And also because I have met her and she came to my live stream, I'm going to have her link down below too, so that everybody can get to know her. Also, Apostle Edgar Kapanga, thank you so much for being in the live, and thank you so much for coming. I haven't seen you in a long time, but I'm glad that you're still here and that God is blessing your life. Marlene Saunders was here. Janice A, thank you so much for becoming a member here on Geo's blogs. I really appreciate it, and I am glad that we're getting to know each other. And let's see who else was in the chat. My good friend, J Luck Block. Hey, girl. Hey. J Luck and I met on Team Build with Geo, my other channel. And we've been friends since, I don't know, 3-4 years here on uh, YouTube. So, with that said, I believe that's everybody. And Jaden was here as well. So, once again, Coach Mary, Melissa King, actually Aubery, and Mocha Meema, I want to thank you guys for coming and discussing the side chick stories. Thank you so much for telling your story. And we're going to be out of here. This is Geo, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye, everybody.
8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of